There we go. What's up, man?
What's going on? How have you been?
I'm being good. I know we just asked ourselves that question, but we want the audience to know that we asked that question, that we care about each
It's
other.
very important that they know that we talk about ourselves. I mean, that's very important.
That's all I do, really. That's all I do is talk about myself. Now, it's been a
So we've
long
had a lot
time.
of we've had a lot of like life events happen since the last time we talked. Like I don't even know what you've been up to here lately. It's
Oh,
been kind
dude,
of crazy.
I'm a recluse. I have this tendency of whether something good or bad is happening, I tend to keep it to myself because I don't want to like bother people. That's like the worst quality that I have as a person. Um, I'm getting out of that. I'm trying not to be as guarded. Um, oh yeah, 7 months ago, that's when we did our podcast.
Dang, that was forever ago.
Yeah, a lot has changed. I got engaged, went to Florida and got engaged. Um, my
Yeah, I
sister
remember
got in a,
seeing all that.
yeah, my sister
You
got in a
uploaded
wreck.
some videos, didn't you?
I did. And then I've been trying to get off of TikTok for the longest time. Uh, so I rarely post, but
I have a
it's
love-hate relationship with it. It's kind of a thing of I would go, but it's like now I'm starting to gain more steam and get a little bit more followers. So I'm like, do I really want to walk away? And then I don't know.
well, it's there's something alluring about it because there is a potential to go viral and like get a huge audience. With me, I have 17,000 followers, but my videos average maybe 400 views. So I
Right.
think I'm shadow banned. I think that's what it is. My videos get suppressed a lot. Um, I thought about just making the switch to YouTube, doing what we're doing right now, which is very therapeutic.
Which I'm excited to do more of these. Any more you want to have me on, I'm game.
Oh,
Because
I'm good. I'm not good that never have you again. That sounded terrible. I mean, I'm good with like, yes, I
yeah,
consent.
I'm good. I don't need you a third time. Yeah,
Yeah, I
we're good.
consent for future actions. You don't have to ask me. I consent every single time.
No, with TikTok, it's weird. I think one of the things that happens is people they follow so many different people, and
mm,
when they do that, seeing your stuff as much because when they're going through their feed or whatever, and so like you'll get a bunch like a viral video to come out,
yeah.
get a bunch of followers, and you never see these people ever again.
Well, and
Some are
it's
probably bots, you
bots.
know.
I'm mostly getting uh, Indian people from India pretending to be Sasha Grey or something. They're like, you lonely? Love I provide." And I'm like, I already have love provided. So I'm
Please
good.
open Bob's and Vagine. Please open Bob's.
Oh my God. Made me choke on my spit. Okay, I'm good. So, this show, longest intro ever with no context. This is called Reddit on Reddit. We look through Reddit, shocker right now, and we find some stories. I got a couple here, and Clint, if you hyped up your story a lot. Now I do want to
Yeah.
tell you this: if it's not as good as you hyped it up to be, I'm going to pop my eyeball out with a plastic spoon, and that'll be
To
your
get
fault.
views. I mean, you get views that way. That's
Well, I'll do it off camera just to show you how upset I am.
just to be counterproductive. All right, I got you. Well, yeah, I did tease you with this, and what's annoying about it is that it was actually banned off of Reddit. So it was one of those TikTok videos where it's constantly scrolling the text by. So I had to
Oh,
keep pausing it and write down every little line of text. I did paraphrase in some parts because man, this right here took 45 minutes by itself. And I was like, God Almighty! But yeah, it's a good one. Yeah, so yeah, I did tease you a little bit about it. Hopefully, it does hype you up a little bit. I'm gonna just give me some light there. So here's what the context is. What is the most disgusting thing you have ever done that you took pleasure in? And it starts off. My wife and I have two wonderful daughters. Now I had to say, when I was watching this the first time, okay, When I was watching this the first time, I was like, "Oh God, please continue! Don't stop right there."
Don't
Right?
stop.
My wife and I have two beautiful dogs. The most disgusting thing you've ever took pleasure in, but no, here it goes. So they're 13 and 10.
It
Pretty
sounds
healthy
terrible.
relationship.
Here's the most pleasurable. What's the grossest thing you've ever done that's the most pleasurable? Well, I have a daughter that's 10 and 13. Hey!
Whoa.
Mm,
Yeah, I mean,
stop!
it was one of those instances where I had to scroll and scroll back to rewatch the video because, yeah, I was like, holy shit, so yeah.
Oh,
So he has two daughters and a pretty healthy relationship with his wife. Says at some point things started to appear off. Very clingy to her phone all of a sudden. Made sure to delete the save password feature on our shared PC.
mm.
Hmm. Started having phone calls that suddenly ended whenever I came into the room. You can probably guess what it was.
Oh, no.
I mean, we can only imagine, right?
Yeah.
So now, having 15 years of marriage, and this kind of hit me too, because that's about how long my wife and I have been together. So now, having 15 years of marriage behind us, I was hoping it wasn't what it obviously was. So one day, when she said she was going to spend some time with her friends, I decided to follow her. And sure enough, I saw her driving to a hotel to meet with a guy we'll call Steve. It was a gut punch was an understatement. I really cried for an hour straight. Getting out of my self-wallowing phase, I decided that the best course of action was getting even. That's always good, right?
That's not good.
No, it's not.
Oh.
I thought of several scenarios that may or may not have involved hurting Steve. However, I decided to do things more civilly and, more important, legally, but only just.
Mm.
Yeah, we're going to hurt Steve. The first part of the plan was gathering evidence. I could have just gotten a pie, but I had something much better in mind. That's the reference to the Stephen King book Thinner. I don't think
Yes.
anybody's really going to get that. But yeah, one day while my wife and I, or my wife was at her job and the kids at school, I installed secret cameras and microphones I had bought. And due to the setup of our bedroom, I managed to get one perfectly overlooking the bed. However, used them while I was at home. So, a couple of days pass when I propose to my wife that the second to next weekend I should take the girls on a trip and stay a night too. I more often than not was the one cooking and taking care of the daughters, the
Oh.
more active role in raising the girls, to show them a little more patience and attention. Usually busy working or drinking. It's interesting.
Mm.
So me going alone with the girls on a trip wasn't that weird. I'd say not. She sounds like an alcoholic.
Yeah.
So 2 weeks pass in which I get my affairs in order and I contact a lawyer to write up a separation agreement that would involve me keeping residence and custody.
Smart.
The plot thickens. I go on the trip to try not to give anything away to the girls, and I wait to see if Steve and my wife fall into the trap. When I return and I check the recordings of the weekend, and sure enough, it's a 36-hour fest. When they weren't doing the deed, the dialogue was something even better. I found out that Steve has a wife. Even worse, they talked about me. And I heard the obvious character assassination that I expected about how small my penis was. Insecurity of mine. How I didn't satisfy her. But there was some really hurtful stuff, like her telling Steve some of my deepest secrets, painful stories that I had only told her about, just so they could have a laugh.
Bitch.
Yeah,
Oh,
you gotta love it.
bitch.
It's like it's bad enough you're fucking around on me, but you're gonna go and tell everything that I told you in confidence to someone else. Yeah, that's just great.
That's worse than the physical cheating.
And I don't think people understand that either. She even told him about my dope story and how I attempted to take my own life when I was 16. At this point, I didn't have any doubts about what to do. The next day, when the kids left, but before my wife left, I confronted her with the video and told her that she either signs the separation agreement and leaves the house, or the girls were going to receive an in-depth description on all the positions mommy cheated on daddy. I wasn't going to do that, just to be clear.
Oh.
I love my daughters too much. But I put the threat there, and she was too emotional to call my bluff. Went through all the stages, and here it comes. You knew this was coming. Talked about this before. Denying everything, trying to bargain, threatening me, and getting angry. Yes, he has the video. It's like he's showing you the video, and you're going, "Oh, that ain't me."
That's AI.
Yeah. It's a skinwalker situation. Like, I don't her go through all that stuff. Eventually, she signed the paper and departed that very evening after she told her goodbyes to the girls. This is all chicken scratch because my hand was starting to cramp up writing this.
Oh, I fucking bet.
She says goodbye to the girls. I didn't show or tell the girls anything graphic. I just said that mommy had been unfaithful. It took some time figuring it out, but that was made up by my oldest getting mightily upset. This would be important during the upcoming custody battle. He's all right. My wife, in the moment, did agree to give custody, but I was right to fear she would try and fight me for the kids. What I didn't expect was her using her visitation to talk about me. She started telling my younger kid it was my fault for not forgiving her. The lawyer even demanded she receive custody. Finally activated my revenge plan. This wasn't the revenge plan. This is next, so it gets even better.
Holy fuck. Oh, shit. I'm getting mad. Okay, I'm good.
Enter trip to South Carolina. Why? Simple. Fort Sumter. I really wanted my daughters to see it. I definitely did not go there because it's one of the last places where revenge porn isn't illegal, and where I could upload my wife and Steve's doings with no worries, as you cannot be prosecuted for crimes that weren't illegal and where they were committed. I especially made sure to include the clip where Steve could not get it up. And this is why I think it was removed off of Reddit. That's why I think it was, because the revenge porn angle here. I sent the links to my wife's employer, her clients, and everybody in her line of work, just to be sure. His wife and his firm. Steve soon got a divorce. I feel sorry for his wife, as she was an innocent victim in all this, but I think it's better that she found out.
Right.
As for my wife, this was the end of any chance to get custody. She soon got fired from her job of 8 years. I got custody. For being unemployed, I got no alimony, but honestly, I make enough for me and the girls. Several months later, my wife is still unemployed. The time we spoke, she threatened to take my life because I ruined hers.
Holy shit.
So,
now, there was a part of that story, before I give my take on it completely, there was a part of the story that I thought he was going to fuck Steve. He's like, I don't want to hurt Steve. I was like, well, what do you want to do with Steve?
What are you going to do, Steve?
What are you going to do? Are you going to make him feel good? You're going to show him the pee-pee bubba? So
that's what I would have done. I would have fucked Steve.
When I shared this story before, when I was getting divorced, right before I was getting divorced, I found out I was being cheated on, and I had all this information. I caught them cheating multiple times. I had audio and video recording of them, like video chatting with another guy. I had all this stuff. And I was like, at one point, I really thought, like, I'm just going to fucking release this shit. Because if she wants to do this stuff privately, she's not going to get away with it privately. So I'm going to just post it. And then I really thought about it. I was like, so all you'd be proving to the public is that you loved her conditionally and that you would revoke your protections of her if she did something bad. So if I were to do that, I didn't really love her at all. But that was my situation. I usually am against it, but shit like that, if like seeing 38 hours of talking shit about you and like having no regard, he gets a pass. And that's what sucks about cheating, is because when cheaters get caught, it's usually this, oh, I didn't mean to. I just felt so lonely. I just felt so lonely. I'm like, okay, then, call your mom or ask me to take a day off or something if you feel lonely.
Here's one, go to therapy.
Go to therapy. Well, the thing is that was one of their things. Like, I felt lonely. I was like, I was always home. I only worked 15 days out of the month. So I was home. You ignored me. So if you were lonely, you could have like knocked on her bedroom door and we could watch a show or something, spend time together. But they spitball all these like excuses of like, oh, this is why I did it. But while they're doing it, they're talking shit. They're insulting you. They're giving out all your secrets. That's the worst part.
Yeah.
Like the sex thing is kind of like demoralizing because like, oh, someone else had my girl that way. But like to divulge personal shit, I'd rather get cheated on by having a partner get a train ran on them rather than them just talking shit about me and putting me down.
That's why when I came across that video, I was like, I have to figure out a way to save this. And I was like trying to figure it out. Like, how can I, because I kept Googling it and whatever, and I found out it was banned off of Reddit, but that's why I picked it. It checked all the boxes of stuff that we talked about on TikTok. The cheating, divulging of secrets that were told in confidence. I mean, it gets all of it. Like, it just box after box, having, being a parent and still doing these things. That's another thing too.
That's the wildest part.
Like, that's crazy to me. You have kids. Why would you be doing this? Why would you do it to begin with? But you have these kids to think about too, and they're going to grow up seeing that you treated your other parent this way. Just nothing is thought about at all, and it's that reaction to when you're confronted with the evidence. It's like, it's literally right here. I mean, the deep fakes are a thing, but I don't know how to do them. Here it is, right? I don't get it.
It's this. I mean, I want to be more nuanced, but sometimes things are just cut and dry. Like, there are just people who are selfish and do not care, and they pretend to care after the fact, after they're caught. But it's this desire to have your needs fulfilled, or it's this fantasy. There's a lot of, I fucking blame romance novels or some gynocentric films. Is there's this intrigue about, a new mystery man. Oh, this is so naughty. I'm married. No. But yes. But also no. But yes. It's this weird thing. I've never had that urge ever.
It's like they point out, how the reason why Titanic is the ultimate romance movie is because she goes off with the pauper, the poor guy, the dirty guy with no money, and has the fling with him, but still gets to settle into the rich life with her future husband like nothing happened. It didn't happen.
Yeah, he froze to death, so we don't have to worry about him.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't matter that I did this behind your back. We'll continue our bougie life of the rich lifestyle, and nothing happened.
That bitch could have moved. She could have shared the door. Or they could have at least taken turns.
I know it. That's probably why she let him die, she didn't want to have to tell her.
She had a kink. She had that praying mantis kink. Like, yes, you drew me and then banged me. He was like, yeah, go down there. Freeze to death.
That's it.
Dumb bitch. Oh,
That's
man.
Gonna be a horrible way to go.
Yeah. I'd rather freeze to death than burn to death.
I could see that, yeah.
Yeah, because I like the cold.
So freezing's going to be slower.
It's going to be slower, but it's kind of like, I'll sleep with the AC on during the wintertime. Like, it was 40 degrees in my room at one point. And I'm just like, this feels nice. But now being 30, and up until like a couple of years before I turned 30, I had this thing now where my knees lock up when it's cold.
Oh, shit.
So I kind of like walk like the Tin Man. Like when they walk up, I'm like, If I only had a heart. If I only had a heart. It's fucking terrible.
Well, my wife's the same way about the cold. It's wild to me. She's got that Viking blood in her. I guess she's got to be cold 24/7. She hates the heat.
I hate it.
I'm a sun and summer and heat type guy. I hate being hot. Like I don't like the sweaty and humid. But
Yeah.
I hate the winter time with all the gray skies and everything's dead. And I hate that.
I like it.
It's me.
Death. I love death. I don't like the sun. The sun hates me.
Like Dr. Claw for a second.
It was fucking. Yes, Gadget.
Inspector Gadget.
I'll blow up the sun. Go, fuckface. Oh, fuck. This is nice. This is something that I needed. Are you ready for my little Reddits?
I am ready and willing.
Okay. So this is on Ask Reddit, and it's not safe for work, so don't listen to this while you're at work. Or have your earbuds in. What is the most disgusting thing you did willingly? This person, okay.
That's never good.
When I was 6 or 7, I was staying the night at a friend's house and had explosive diarrhea. In the middle of the night, only after finishing and trying to flush, I remembered his parents telling me not to use that toilet because it was out of order. I then spent the next 30 to 40 minutes.
The next 30 to 40. Oh, God. Please no.
I almost threw up in my mouth. So give me just a second to collect myself. This happened in the past. It's not happening in front of you. You're not the one doing it, Justin. You're not the one doing it. It's words on a screen. Okay. I then spent the next 30 to 40 minutes.
Here's the thing about human shit. Like, I've had to deal with some really gross stuff before in the past, working in food industry and all that, and being around garbage sometimes. I've seen some nasty stuff. There is something about human feces, particularly, that is awful. I don't know what it is. As soon as it hits my nose, I'm like, what? I can only imagine where this is going.
I don't want to vomit, but if I do, cool, fine. It'll be on camera.
Do it for the views.
I spent the next 30 to 40 minutes slowly scooping the liquid shit out of the toilet that wouldn't flush with his bare hands into the trash can. Then I washed my hands thoroughly and went back to bed. Parents found the diarrhea-filled trash can the next morning, no doubt by the smell, and had a stern, heartfelt talk with me. This was almost 30 years ago, and I'm still disgusted by it.
Stern and heartfelt.
Stern and heart. Now listen to me. It's okay to have diarrhea, to have the liquid shit. It's something. There's something wrong with your gut biome. You should have just left it in the toilet, sweetie, because we could have just got a bucket and then just dumped water in there and then force flushed it. But to put that in my Mary Mushroom trash can, that's vintage. You've ruined it. You've stained the vinyl on it. It's fucking ruined.
It's okay to have the Hershey squirts.
It's
but
okay.
You can't put it in the trash can.
You can have the Reese's Feces, but you can't put it in the trashy canny, okay? And then someone responded. I love a good shit story. They said, when I finished school and finally started working as a hairdresser, diarrhea struck me on the very first day. Not only did I disappear for 30 minutes, I ultimately clogged the toilet so hard that it spilled over. I was drenched in sweat, trying to remove the mess as fast as possible, with nothing but my hands, some toilet paper, and the tiniest bin on the planet. When suddenly a customer knocked on the door, I realized how long I was already in there that I'm certainly unable to clean up without anyone noticing. Suddenly, my boss was knocking too and angrily expected me to explain this. I simply opened the door. They found me standing in shit water, shit in my hands, shit in the sink, shit in the toilet, shit freaking everywhere. I was fired on the spot.
It's like, I mean, what do you do? It's, I'm sorry, your services are no longer required.
How did you? Okay, one, how do you clog a toilet with diarrhea?
I don't even know, because it doesn't even want to stay in you, but it won't go down the toilet, I guess. I don't know.
It's like, I don't know. Getting older, it's preferable sometimes. Like, it's apparently not for them, but it's like an easier cleanup in most cases. That just blows my mind. Oh my god! I almost threw up.
She's worked a lot of retail, and just the stories she's told me about going into bathrooms sometimes. Like one guy, this is when she was working at Dollar General. He tore the toilet paper roll holder out of the wall, put it down into the toilet, and then shit on it.
The point. What was it?
I saw the loading screen above your forehead there. For
oh, I said the point. How? Why? There must be like some sort of like mental psychosis.
No idea. It's like you come across the people every now and then where they're constantly eating things from their own body, or there's something up here that goes, oh, I've got stories. You want me to make you throw up here on this podcast? We're not going to get any views. This is nasty.
Oh, okay. Go for it.
Oh, you want me to tell you stories about somebody? Okay, well,
sure.
Not to speak ill of the dead because this person's no longer with us, but I used to have
they don't live anymore. Go ahead.
Used to have a coworker that had a bad habit of pulling certain things out of his nose and eating it. Yeah, take a sip of that vanilla Coke.
Yeah.
There you go. There was one time, me and another coworker, our machines were running good, so we had time to kill, just, shooting the shit, talking. We were leaning up on one of the machines watching, and you could see the production office, and this guy, sometimes he had paperwork to fill out, and he would sit at the computer hour, 2 hours filling out a bunch of paperwork. When I tell you, when we were sitting there counting, because we saw one go in there, that was one, I tell you that we got up into the 30s. I am not lying to you.
Oh, no.
This man put away 30 of his own boogers. It's like, what makes people think that? And then another time, one of our other coworkers in the locker room, he's kind of making a weird face looking off to the side. And like, well, what's wrong with him or whatever? And this guy that I'm talking about, he eventually leaves the locker room, and we asked the other guy, well, what's wrong? He watched him take a scab off of his stomach and eat it. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, he's gone. He's got Stormbreaker. And yeah, he just took his own life. I'm sorry, folks. That's the end of the podcast.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, God.
I think we're going to make a bunch of people vomit and pass out. We better go on with more of the Reddit stories.
Okay. I think this one's less so of fecal. This one says, this reminds me, wait, is this another shit story? I don't give a shit. This reminds me of a bad time I had in college. My appendix was ruptured.
You don't give a shit, but this guy did.
Their appendix was rupturing, but didn't realize it. I thought I had a really bad stomach ache, so in the middle of the night I tried to take a dump. Oh yeah, it is a shit story. Well, one of the guys I lived with, a 300-pound gentleman, was having some issues of his own. This toilet was clogged with the largest turd I had ever seen. Not even joking. It was around 4 inches in diameter, I desperately needed to unclog the toilet, but there was no plunger. So the only thing I could do was grab a plastic knife and sawed it into flushable pieces. I had repressed that memory until now. Thanks. Most of this is shit.
These are shit stories. What'd you do?
Oh. Here's a boy.
Right, full disclosure. Full disclosure here. I have a family member who will not be named, and I'm not going to hint at who this person is in my family, but their mother used to make them do that because the toilet was easily clogged. So they actually kept utensils just for the bathroom. And I'm not joking.
Okay.
You.
Now, a good supplement from that would at least just learn how to Kegel, because if you can like cut it off at the source and then you restart and then you cut it off and then you restart and you just cut it off, you know what I mean?
Well, sometimes they sneak up on you. It's like, shit.
Well, like yeah. you could do rabbit pellets if you truly needed to at that point. I'd rather learn how to Kegel than have to, you know,
and here's
cut
the
it
thing,
like a
here's
steak.
Another takeaway from that story. I'm sure you heard it. It's that when a lady tries to tell you, fellas, that 4 inches is not enough.
It's enough.
Ask her if she would like a 4-inch in diameter turd to exit her person. You can also be kicked out of the bedroom. But be sure to ask her this question.
Okay, I'm good.
I'm just trying to help people. I'm just trying to help. That's all I'm doing here.
Help by making me vomit. Oh, shit. Here's a Boy Scout story.
Oh, well, I was going to say thank God, but we'll see where this goes.
We'll see where it goes. I was on a Boy Scout camp out, and this kid kept hitting me with his bamboo stick. So I broke it in half and threw it away. He then decided to spit in my eye. So I proceeded to steal his bag of peanuts while he wasn't looking and fill the bag with my pee. Now I know usually people put peanuts in their Coke, but this is a whole new level. I let it soak for a bit and then poured the pee out and let the bag dry in the sun for the rest of the day. The next morning, I placed the bag into his tent and watched him eat the whole bag. He periodically looked at the peanuts, a little confused, but he ate the whole bag and like 30 plus of them. It was an excellent revenge. Peanuts, someone commented.
He looks at it a little confused. It's like, yeah, peanuts, yeah. But he's looking at it just a little confused. That's peculiar. That's odd flavor. Bunch.
Did my mom give me the salt and vinegar variety?
These aren't bad, actually. Do you know that the Romans, they used to use urine as mouthwash? It contains ammonia in it, and ammonia kills bacteria.
But there's bacteria in pee. That's so fucking stupid. What the
Have you seen their outhouses? Have you seen historical records of their outhouses? It would be benches lined around in a big room. And basically, you had enough room to sit over your hole, and you would be touching knees with the other Romans. These would be touching theirs while you're trying to shit, and you're just having casual political conversations while you're shitting down the toilet. And then you were handed this long stick that had a sponge on the end of it that contained vinegar. And that's what you wiped your ass with, and that was the communal ass wiping stick that they all used after they were done.
So they were like, so what do you think about them hanging this Jesus guy on a cross?
Yeah. I need the shit stick.
What did he do? Claim he was the son of God? You gotta kill him for that? He flipped a tax table. Oh, okay. Well, we gotta collect our taxes. Holy shit.
Pontius Pilate, he's awful harsh, but I can...
I
I can
see.
understand why he would do that.
Maybe he is the son of. I'm trying. I think there's this feature that we could use. Like, stop trying to mess up everything. Ooh, we could use YouTube.
Oh.
Oh, here we go. I authorize a watch together.
Do I
Got
need
it.
to join activity?
There we go. This should. Oh, this is nice. I'm glad I didn't waste my money on Zoom. What is that one? What is that one video? While I'm thinking of that, I'll put this on. No, Justin, learn how to spell. I don't know if you can see what I'm typing.
No, I can't see what you're typing. It's still loading up on mine.
Oh my god, dude, this is an MMA fight, dude. Too much. Twist that dick! Twist his dick!
Can you hear that? Can you hear that?
I can't see nothing yet.
Nothing. Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, I could.
Try it again.
Oh, dick twist!
The old dick twist.
Grab his dick and twist it! Oh my god, dude, this is an MMA fight, dude. Too much. Twist that dick! Twist his dick! Twist his dick! Oh, dick twist!
That's how Romans fought. There's this picture that my fiance sent me of of this Roman statue, and it was they were 69ing it, but they were wrestling, and the dude is like twisting it, and I was like, oh, okay. That's hilarious. Oh, are you still on the activity? There you go. Now we can see more of your face.
There we go.
Do you have any other Reddit stories?
No, that's what I was saying before we started the show. I kind of dropped the ball because I got real busy and I didn't find any more because sometimes Reddit can be a pain to go through and find stuff. And I was like,
yeah,
no,
it
this
is.
story's not good enough. That one's not good enough.
I have this one. Am I here? There it is. There's these stories that it's called "Am I the Asshole?"
Right, I've seen a bunch of those. And today I fucked up a bunch of those.
You're fine. There's one that I saw too. Let's see. This is the one I see on TikTok a lot. Like people like, am I in the wrong for this? Where did I have it? Oh, okay. Yeah, that's the one. This one's kind of long, but it's not too long. And we can stop periodically, do sentences or. Am I the asshole for calling my coworker a creep after he asked about my husband's genitals and our sex life? My 37, she's 37 female, her husband's 37 male. Vincent is a paraplegic and has been since he was in a car crash when we were 14. If that is all relevant, we've been best friends since we were 9. He, of course, uses a wheelchair and is now pretty used to either awkward looks or innocent questions about what happened, if he can feel anything, etc. This morning, early afternoon, my work had a little party for us to celebrate because it's the anniversary of the veterinary hospital I work at. It was a barbecue picnic thing at a local park for everyone who works there, their families. I've worked there for about 10 years and know everyone there quite well. So does Vincent. So we were pretty happy to have this nice lunch. Miles, in his late 20s, is a new recipient at the clinic. He's been there since February. while the other 9 people who work there have been here for at least 2 years or so. Miles generally seems to be a nice guy, but he can be pretty nosy at times. In general, that doesn't really bother me. Everyone has their quirks. Today was the first time Vincent and Miles met. Miles had a lot of nosy questions for Vincent, e.g., or example, what happened? Can you really not feel anything below your waist? Was it hard finding an apartment around here? Is there an abrupt line where you can feel everything and nothing? Or is there a part of your body where you can kind of feel something? Just a whole list of really invasive questions. Now, multiple times during this conversation, myself and Vincent and some of the coworkers tried to change the topic. Miles would usually play along for a bit, but then would have other questions. At one point, Miles asked Vincent, so how does that work in the bedroom? Can you know? Now, obviously, it's weird and uncomfortable and to have a person you don't know well ask about your sex life, but Vincent was incredibly sensitive about it. And his feelings about himself because of the way our sex life is as a result of his paraplegia is something that he has long struggled with. For the record, I absolutely love our sex life, but still he feels bad about himself. I immediately said, Miles, why do you have to be such a creep? Miles then got upset and told me I was being an ass for leaping to that, and Vincent and I left pretty shortly after. Vincent, for the record, was very thankful for what I said, and one of our coworkers texted me to say that he understood where I was coming from, but thought I was probably being too mean, too fast. She had a coworker tell her that you were being rude for standing up for her husband. What's your opinion on that?
I'm conflicted for a couple things. So
yeah,
look, I understand. I'm on her side with this 100% because that was very invasive and yeah. On the same token, though, like there's people that are genuinely curious about these things, and I don't know if maybe they had some kind of what do you want to call it? Some kind of social issue, like social anxiety, or some kind of block where they're not, pick your room, read the room is what I'm trying to say. Right. I don't know if maybe it's a little bit of that or what, but I know I'm on her side. But on the same token, like it's not like it's unforgivable. They can get back on good terms. But yes, he needed to exit the room and leave them alone, definitely.
Yeah, there's some people who have no social cues, or maybe they're not used to being around people, so they don't know what's appropriate or not. She said he was in his early 20s or late 20s. I was kind of not a shithead. I was never really a shithead like that, but I could see a guy in his late 20s not having like social cues or being able to read them. Oh shit. I mean,
getting worse.
She was justified in calling him a creep, but you can convey something's inappropriate and should not be asked without insulting. But that's like you're asking a very intimate question at the same time, so it is justified. But would I have said the same thing? If somebody was like asking my partner, say if my partner was paralyzed, if they asked her a question like that, like, can you feel anything? Like, what is that like for you? I'd look at my partner and say, is that a question that you want to answer, or do you want me to handle it? And if they said, you handle it, I'd grab them by their collar and get nose to nose with them and be like, fuck you, buddy. Leave, buddy.
Now, here's a good one. You want to know what it's like?
You want to know what it's like? I'll show you, buddy. I can do a lot of damage with 2 inches, buddy. That's the size of a shank in prison. It does damage. It won't kill you, but you'll feel it tomorrow, sir. Let him go.
You're so curious about what it's like to be paralyzed. I'll show you. Yeah.
I'll put you in the Boston Crab, bitch. Chris Jericho, Walls of Jericho, bitch. Walls of shut the fuck up, watch your mouth, sir.
I think you're a big wrestling fan too, aren't you?
Love wrestling. Love wrestling.
How far back do you go? Because it used to be he did the Lion Tamer.
in
he couldn't do
WCW.
that to the bigger guys in the WWF, so he had to switch it to the Walls of Jericho, and it was just the Boston Crab. But if you go look at the Lion Tamer, I don't know if you've seen it.
His knee is on the neck.
It's brutal. Yeah, like his knee is like on their neck, and they're like twisted up. I mean, it looks brutal.
That's my favorite. Now I started watching wrestling. It was WCW was the first wrestling thing I ever really watched. I knew who Hulk Hogan was beforehand. I knew Andre the Giant. I knew of all of them. But I really got into wrestling during WCW, like the NWO era, and then Sting. Sting was my favorite wrestler. I switched over to WWE because of the Hardy Boys. Me and my brothers were a huge fan, and then learned about Stone Cold and The Rock and all of them. But the thing that I hate the most is when I tell people that I like watching wrestling. They're like, it's fake, right? I'm like, yeah, so is Game of Thrones, dipshit. Do you think they're really fighting dragons and butt fucking? No, they're not. They're actors. It's all fake. Everything is fake.
That's one of the reasons why sometimes when I'm watching a match, I do tend to get a little irritated when something they do is very contrived. It's like we understand that this is a predetermined event, but it doesn't need to look like it's choreographed and you guys are working together. I always hate, one of my pet peeves is when they go up on the top turnbuckle and they're like, they make sure every now and then to swing a punch. Oh, we're still fighting, see? But like they're helping each other get into position to do something like a superplex.
Let me help you fuck me up,
Yeah, it's like, yeah, exactly. It's like when you do the superplex, I would much rather it be your opponent sees you getting on the turnbuckle to do a splash move or something, and then he runs up to get you and then suplexes you off. That works because now it looks like
much better.
You're actually trying to hurt this guy, right?
Well, the one thing I liked, which I really thought was a good idea, it was John Cena. For the longest time, he had that move, the fireman carry toss, and I even as a kid, I was like, why don't they just elbow him in the temple? Why don't they just they have the room to do so, and then someone finally did, and I was like, perfect. Look at that. They took my shit. They owe me royalties. The one thing I do hate in wrestling is the super kick. They make it so obvious they put their hand in front of their face. I don't know if you've seen that recently.
Yes, the super kick is overused anyway.
But they're really, some of them are quick about it. But how about you be a man and just take the fake kick to your face? Not really kicking your face. Yeah, you're gonna feel it a little bit, but it ain't gonna hurt you. And then the leg slapping when they do the super kick, they make it obvious.
See, it used to be, yeah, it's very obvious. Like they go way back, like you just said, and then plus there's a delay in it. So like they do the kick, but because they're way back here, and by the time they hit their leg, is already done. So there's like this weird delay. It's almost like Bluetooth. Yeah, it's like, dude, that was obvious what you did. And my thing is about the face protection. If you are doing so many super kicks that you feel like you got to protect your face because you're getting sloppy, you're doing too many super kicks. It's just me.
No, you're wrong about the sound. It's so hard. The impact was so hard that humans can't hear it immediately. It's like an atomic bomb.
It broke the sound barrier.
Broke the sound barrier, dude. That's how he got the 1, 2, 3. Have you watched any AEW?
I have not watched anything from AEW because I haven't watched anything since COVID. And the reason being is because I let subscriptions lapse. I let things kind of go to the wayside. I do keep track of it. Like I'll watch the occasional YouTube video or TikTok about what's going on in wrestling, who's coming and going. Like the only reason I know about LA Knight being as big as he is right now is because of TikTok. But I do keep up with it. Yeah.
Dude, he's going to be the next big thing. He is so stone cold and The Rock. He
kind of is. I mean, people go nuts when he comes out. Like he's
so great.
Babies in the air.
I love him. He's in his late 40s, man. Like he was in TNA for the longest time. Yeah, he's getting a very late start. Like he's close to retirement age, but he doesn't look retirement age. Like
he looks fresh faced.
He looks great. Like I know when I get his age, I'm gonna like kind of look like the crooked man and be like, hand me that. You know.
That's why I'm trying to stay in shape, and that's why I had to quit the job I was doing because they were breaking me down, and I knew that just like in a few years I was going to be hunched over.
What were you doing?
But well, I was working. I'm just going to lay it all out there. I wondered if this story would come up while we were doing the podcast, but I was working at a place called Winchester Farms Dairy.
Mm.
It is a dairy manufacturing plant, a processing plant for Kroger. And I've started kind of being public about all the shitty things that they've done to me. And if people find out who I am and follow me on TikTok, I've got stories on there. But essentially,
I've seen some. Yeah, that's right.
The things that I was doing, the nonstop late hours, the grueling physical work that I was doing, where I was never getting a break. One of the last shifts that I worked there, I worked 18 hours straight with
That's
one
illegal.
15-minute break. Yeah, it's 15-minute break. I was there for 18 hours. My wife was pissed. She threatened to come and get me. Said, "We're just going home. Like I'm picking you up and we're going home and you're done." It took her almost begging me to quit, but since I have, I feel so much better because I don't think people realize that know me how bad it got. My face was gaunt. I was using, because I'm still active on TikTok, I was using filters and stuff to hide how bad it was because when I just did the regular camera, dude, you could see it. I had pits around my eyes. You could see into my cheekbones.
Oh, I had that for a while.
If I took my shirt off, I mean, my ribs were visible. I still had a gut because I think there's something else going on. But you could see just ribs. And the physique that I had took 5 years to build, I think, something like that, 4 or 5 years. I lost 60 pounds, most of it muscle. I had a 405-pound max squat for 5 reps. Like I could lift, dude. Like I'm trying to build that up now again. It was awful. Yeah, folks, like anybody who's listening to this, if you got a job that's breaking you down, it is not worth it. I understand giving 110% and being a good worker, or waking up to the fact that you need to be valued what you're actually worth, not what they're willing to pay you. There's a huge difference.
Very huge difference. Yeah. I'm one of those if I want to get ahead in a workplace, I'll bust my ass. I did that for 2 or 3 years. I've been at this current job, a wallboard plant, for almost 6 years. Once I got to a position where I didn't have to bust my ass as much anymore, I even told my higher ups, like, hey, you guys are going to get the bare minimum from me. Like, I'm going to do my job. I will do it efficiently. I'm not going to go above and beyond. I am not going to come in on my days off. I'll cover vacation, but I will not come in on my days off unless I'm scheduled ahead of time. I will not answer phone calls when I'm home. I busted my ass for a very long time, and I'm comfortable where I'm at now. So you'll get the best work from me, but it will literally be the bare minimum. Because I tore my my whole body up. I was walking on average 15 miles a day. It was not good. Concrete floors. Had to replace the insoles of my shoes like every 2 weeks.
God bless.
It was costing me money to walk. And I was like, no, I'm not going to spend money to work here. I'll buy gas money, but I'm not spending money to work here. So I eventually got to a position where I literally don't do anything except watch the product go by. I'm the quality person, pretty much, making sure that it's good enough to sell. And I just sit on my ass and I watch things go. I'm like, this is where I'm staying for a good while. Yeah, I did gain some weight. I was really fit when I was walking 15 miles a day. But I gladly have a little extra chub to not have to. It was fucking terrible, dude. It was like walking on like jagged rocks on a beach. And then,
I mean, that's the breaking point. It was for me anyway. Is I'm looking at these guys, and let's face it, a lot of people with their current jobs, if they've been there for, especially when you start get up in the 20s years and up, they essentially have Stockholm syndrome. I'm sorry to say it, but it's like they have this mentality like, I can't leave. I
Mm-hmm.
understand retirement accounts, I understand benefits and pensions, but you need to understand that, folks, you're going to leave that job, you're going to retire, and within 2 years, you're probably gone because you've destroyed your body working at this place. And then you go from that to doing nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't get people to understand me. Enjoy your life. You got to do something that makes you happy or something that you feel is contributing to something bigger. And that's my goal now. Whatever I do going forward, I'm either A, going to be happy doing it, or B, it's going to mean something. Like, it needs to be a worthwhile and meaningful job. And while I was working there, I wasn't happy. That was obvious. But I also feel like it wasn't meaningful. I felt like poisoning people.
Yeah.
And again, they can try to come after me. I don't care. All of people's fears about what the type of stuff that goes into their food products, 100% validated.
Yeah.
Watch what you buy at the retail stores. Try to go and find smaller stores. Try to find small businesses. Try it. I know it's expensive, but try it. At least cut out a little bit.
Right.
That's like where I started this low tox living thing, where I'm cutting out this crap. I'm not getting rid of all of it. I mean, obviously, I still have caffeinated drinks,
Yeah.
sugary drinks and stuff, but try to get, because I mean, folks, we work our entire lives and then we just fade away into nothing.
Well, what I usually tell people is like, dude, if you died at your job or you died while you're at home, they'd replace you in 2 weeks.
Oh yeah. Your replacement will be trained and ready to go before your obituary comes out.
Yeah, like they'll have a. Well, at my job, it was they're very they realize we're humans. We had a coworker die, and a lot of them said like, hey, if you need a day, stay home and like mourn the loss of this person. Feel free to go home. Give you a day. We'll pay you to stay home. And a lot of people went home and they shut down the plant. They when I was going through my suicidal depression, they let me take 2 weeks off and paid for my therapy. And that their motto was, and it still is, that you have to have meaning in your work. If you don't have meaning, if you don't feel fulfilled, you're going to be miserable, and we don't need that, because that'll eventually not only hurt you, but you'll end up leaving, and then we have to spend another $3,000 or $4,000 training someone to replace you, and we lose all that time that you had training. We lose all your knowledge. So I don't want to say publicly I'll tell you after the pod, but literally they're like, you're human, and you have to be mentally okay. And if you're not mentally okay, tell us. Take a leave of absence, and you'll still have a job when you come back. So I lucked out because I worked a lot of places that were not like that. Like, I don't care you're sad that your grandmother died. You have to come into work.
Yeah, you hit the jackpot with that place, because the one that I had, it's treat people like cattle. And the way that I understand it, and somehow my wife is more up to date on the happenings of that place, I guess, where technically her stepdad still works there. The way I'm hearing it is that place is hemorrhaging employees, and I'm glad to see it. I'm sorry, but that place is toxic, and that company is toxic. I don't think people realize just how bad some of these big grocery chains and big restaurants, the corporate side of it, how toxic it really is.
Yeah.
It's like you always say, a fish rots from the head down. And if the head of the fish is not in a good state and it's toxic and it treats people like cattle, it's just going to go down the line. And that's the culture there. You're replaceable. We don't need you. We'll have somebody, which that's starting to not be the case. It's about to be the case where nobody's going to be at your front door looking for a job because everybody's done. Like, then they're starting to see that now. That company, I don't know, but these other companies around that I see, they're starting to realize nobody's working these jobs.
Yeah, well, we had issues like when I first started working there. The plant's been open up for like 50 years, and a lot of people were quitting because we were working 4 on, 2 off, 12-hour shifts. And it was rotating, so it would be day and then night shifts after your 2 days off. A lot of people started quitting, and eventually we got to this Canadian work schedule where we end up only working 15 days out of the month. We work 10 to 12-hour shifts, but we have 3 weekends off in a row, and once every 5 weeks we have 7 straight days off. I'm on my 7 days off right now. This is my first day of 7 days off. I got to work 7
Damn.
days eventually in a row, but with my job not being physically taxing, because they installed automatic robots that do our old jobs now. Instead of just like firing us, we just babysit the robots now. So it's
don't leave that place. Do not.
I'll
don't
never
know what your
leave.
future plans are for income, but until you're at a place where you feel like you're comfortable and you're making enough, don't leave that place.
Yeah, the only place that I told my fiance that if I could ever start making 10,000 a month doing YouTube, I'm gone. But that's double or triple what I make now. But yeah, 10,000 a month, I'd definitely do it. But they've been good to me, man. Like they've
Give me
really
some pointers when I start my channel. Then, if you're making already half of that at least.
well, it's
Give me some pointers.
yeah, I'm making nothing right now. What I make now, when I said double or triple, that's like what I make at my job.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah, if I was making, I'd probably leave if I was making what I'm making now, just doing YouTube. Not because I hate the place, it's just because I eventually don't want to work. I eventually don't want to have to clock in, have a boss, that I'm my own boss, where I can make my own schedule, and that's the goal. I think that's everyone's goal,
Right.
really. But yeah, I feel like doing TikTok and doing these 3-minute editorials. I honestly, not trying to sound or like dishearten anyone, I don't think TikTok will be a thing in 2 or 3 years. Not because it's going to get banned. I just think that there's going to be a burnout and there's going to be some sort of new application that comes out that's going to be like more preferable. That's why I think the best thing people should do is, continue doing TikTok, but build an audience on a different platform. YouTube is a tried and true, it's one of the grandfathers of social media. And it's been around for years. And TikTok might just be another blip. But yeah, build an audience, take them to YouTube, and then I like the longer format stuff. Like I hate the 10-minute limit, because I have a lot to say. Like not because I'm smart, because I usually have to use 40 words to describe one fucking thing to get my point across. But yeah, I just like the medium a whole lot better. It just seems more smooth to me.
I think that we're going to see a resurgence in the long format video. I think the 3 to 15-second videos are going to be a thing of the past soon, because there is an audience for that, and a lot of it's just mindless scrolling. And that's one of the issues, is that these people are interacting with social media, but they're only spending like a few seconds per video, so they're not getting all of the information. Mm-hmm. And I think that we're going to see a resurgence in long format. I think people are going to slingshot back to that, because we're not really getting what we need. It's supposed to be the information superhighway, but how much of that are you getting in 3 minutes? Really none. And that's the thing. I can even watch it on my analytics whenever I upload on TikTok. You can watch and see as your videos get longer, it dips. Mm-hmm. Views. And I just don't see that lasting very long. No, well, I've gotten in so many debates with people, and I know you know this too, because I've seen you do it. You've gotten in debates with people like I have, where they're not watching the whole video.
Yeah. Oh, it's like they didn't watch it at all.
First 2 statements. Yeah.
It's very frustrating. When TikTok first came out, it was only 60 seconds, and then they did 3 minutes. And then they eventually did the 10 minutes. And then they did the unlimited minutes. Like there are some people, I saw one video, it lasted like 30 minutes one time. I think that was a feature that they did. So there is an appetite for it. Yeah, like a quick 3-minute editorial is nice. It's fine. Like if you just want to get the cliff notes. But I see longer format conversations with multiple people. That's why I stopped doing my podcast, by the way, because it was just me talking by myself, and I have nothing going on. So there's not. I could talk about things going on in the world, but it's more fun and more entertaining to have another person to talk to bounce off ideas. So that's what I'm going to have in the future. I think we have, I think, several mutuals that I would like to get on the Discord and like have big discussions on different things. I don't want it to be a circle jerk. I want people that actually disagree with us on in the future.
Just you and I, there's several things we don't agree on, but we're still friends and we're civil.
Yeah, let's do that exercise. What's one thing that you can think of that we don't agree on?
Well, it's kind of hard to think about now on the fly like that. I don't want to get too racy on here, so I won't bring up like not safe for work. Well, I mean, we already did that earlier, I guess.
Yeah, we talked about shit.
I guess like the whole adult entertainment industry thing.
Oh,
you don't agree
yeah.
with any of it at all.
What
I take more of a liberal approach to it, but
what's your take? Because I think you might be surprised at my take.
My take with it is there is a time and a place for it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what I try to get people to understand that want to ban it and just have it just not be available to anybody is that whenever you do things like that, I kind of compare it to drugs.
Mm-hmm.
When you ban everything like that, it goes into the shadows and then it grows. It gets bigger. It gets worse.
Yes, I agree with that.
So to kind of jump off with the drug thing, that's why I believe, even though I don't like it personally, I believe in legalizing marijuana because that's what most people want. They want the THC from marijuana to get high.
Right.
But when they go to these dealers, because maybe in their state it's illegal, whatever, these dealers are lacing it with stuff to get you hooked on stronger stuff down the road, and they just add it over time, and eventually you're like, man, I'm not getting what I need out of this. What's going on? And then they sell you on the worst stuff. And then you're going down that path of being a drug addict and hooked on narcotics. It's the same thing. Mm. I'll even say this, prostitution. When we made it illegal and we made it a thing, we told people you cannot make money off of your body. Same goes for porn. Did that, and all these places started banning it. It's been pushed into the corners, and now it's evolved into this disgusting thing that it was never intended to be. And now we're seeing people involved in it that should not be, creatures involved in it that should not be, just stuff like that.
Really bad stuff.
I understand the people are just like, I just don't want it in my life at all, and we don't need to have it at all. I can kind of understand that sentiment, but at the same time, it's like it's being made worse than it needs to be. That's actually why I was so, not excited because I don't use it, but I was happy to see something like OF come out because I was like, okay, well now people, like individual people, will start doing this now, and these big disgusting companies that abuse people are going to start running out of business.
Yeah,
well, that didn't happen.
That's my sentiment now.
Those people are getting into it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's my sentiment now. I think when you make something illegal, like, are you protecting people? Maybe, but at the same time, it's unregulated now. Like, if you could regulate it, you could avoid a whole lot of more illegal things. I think personally, like, for me, I'd never do it. I wouldn't want my partner to do it. I wouldn't want my daughter or my sons or whatever kids I have in the future. I wouldn't want them to do it because, in the short term, it makes you a lot of money. But in the long term, it is like, okay, what happens when you stop? And what happens when you want a normal job? What happens when you regret doing it? That's more my thing. Like, if you're going to do it, okay, fine. But, like, you have to suffer the consequences socially of it may prevent you from getting a job. It may prevent you from having a partner because not a lot of people are cool with that. Also, like, my disagreement with it is the hypocrisy. Like, women who are in the industry have these really strict rule sets for their male partners. Like, you can't view it, and you also can't be in one. Like, there's some couples who do it together, but they have this like double standard take. Like, it's okay for men to look at me, but you can't look at other women. That's the hypocrisy of the entertainment industry. That's my contention.
That stuff there is just, and a lot of it, and this is me taking a gendered take on it. And I'm sorry, ladies, but this is true. A lot of women are using that platform kind of like the way they're started using most current platforms, and that they are taking so much control.
Yeah.
Not willing to give any of it up. It's like they're trying to claim, they go all the time about a patriarchy, but they're using things like this to try to flip the script. And instead of us being equal, well, no, I have complete 100% control in this situation. You have nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And I see a lot of that going on too. And yeah, kind of went off on a tangent there, but yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah, well, it's an overcorrection because they feel like my great grandmother was fucking slapped for not cooking a cobbler correctly. Well, I'm sorry that happened, but I'm not the guy who slapped her. That I wasn't raised that way. That's not me. So to expect me to pay for the sins of my fathers, I can't do that. That's a cross I'm not willing to bear. I wasn't raised like that. That's not what I believe in. And I believe in equality for sure, but it's not equality that's being sought after. It's special treatment. Revenge and special treatment. Like, I think there's a whole, we should do another video about this. There are women coming out now saying, fuck this boss girl, bad girl shit. I want someone to take care of me. I don't want to have a job. I want a provider. Well, y'all preached for the last 20, 30 years that you want jobs and to provide for yourself, and that's what you have. And there's some women who are happy doing that, for sure. But there are some women who are like, can a guy just like, I just want to stay home. I just want to cook. I want to clean. I want to raise kids. But they were sold this lie. Like, if you do that, you are betraying women, because you're just going into the gender role that the patriarchy set up for you. But
it's like the whole point of the feminist movement was to give you all a choice.
A choice, not a direction.
And instead of, and there were so many women during the feminist movement, they still wanted to go and have those traditional families and lives.
Yeah.
Just wanted to be able to have a say in how our political elections go.
Yeah.
A say in some of the decisions in the household. That was it. It wasn't, well, we just want to go completely opposite. We want to be men. That's not what they were doing.
Right.
And to see the hate comments on some of those women's posts, other women, when they're talking about you're a traitor to your own gender, and
it's the worst part. Like, some of the happiest women I know are mothers.
Yeah,
they're the happiest people. Like, yeah, their kids are annoying, and kids are annoying, but there's nothing more fulfilling that I think. I haven't had a child of my own yet. I do have a stepdaughter. With that relationship dynamic, there's nothing more fulfilling than knowing that little girl knows that I'll protect her, that wants to be around me and ask me questions. Like, I'm giving them information that's making them develop into a human being, a functioning human being. Like, that gives me joy. It's scary as hell because I don't know how they're going to turn out. Like, you never know. But I instill like these. She got in trouble at school. She hit someone. She's 5. And her mother told me that. And I literally got to do my first dad lesson when it comes to bullying. I told them about when I was bullied and how you don't want to be a bully. You don't want to be Green Goblin. You want to be Spider-Man. You want to use your power to protect others, not hurt them. And she goes, I can be like Spider-Man. I'm like, yeah, you can be. You can be exactly like Spider-Man, but you can't hurt your friends. You can't hit them. And she apologized today. to that little girl. And I was like, oh,
The heart, you know, just
I'm daddy. I'm like, oh my, I was like, I'm going to cry. It's moments. The best thing is she came up to me and she said, "Do you really want to be my dad?" Like I had a lump in my throat. I was like, "Yeah, I do." She's like, "Why?" I was like, "Because I love you with all my heart. That's why I want to be your dad."
No.
And she was like, "I love you too, daddy." And I was like, "Oh, right in the." And I almost died, dude. I was like, ugh. I was like, I love you too. Love you too, son. I was like, Dr. Evil. Like, Doctor, that's my boy.
I love you too, son.
I love you too, son. You actually got me sharks with freaking laser beams attached to their freaking heads.
I miss those movies. I gotta watch those again. It's been so long.
Man. What's cool about this Discord is there can be movie nights. There can be there's a game called Jack in the Box where I could stream it and then everybody just signs in with their phones. And then it's like trivias or different puzzles and stuff. I'd love to do that. I'm trying to not make a cult, but I'm going to try to convince a lot of people to like not leave TikTok like forever maybe, but just like, hey, come over here, come to my shack, come to my cabin. And we'll have a grand old time. I like sharing my opinions publicly. I really do. But after what we talked about privately, I was like, it's not really worth it sometimes. Some conversations should be private and thoughts, but you want to share them. So I think the Discord is going to be a good avenue for that, like to share thoughts. And
I definitely want to do more of these, and I do want to do more collaborations with you in the future for sure. But I will eventually have my own thing, and that's all TikTok is going to be. Is going to be basically an advertisement for, hey, go here.
Oh yeah.
Instead of it the priority where I'm in here with my little ring light that I've got next to me, just kind of filming. It's going to be like, you know, this clip came from whatever show. I haven't decided what I'm doing yet. I don't know what avenue I want to go down, but I want to do more of these collaborations with you because these are always fun.
They're always fun, man. Always a good time. I think, yeah, I stopped doing the podcast, like I mentioned. I kind of just want to do editorials. Like talking about, I did Drag Show for Kids, why I think it's wrong. I did the story about Dylan Mulvaney being the Bud Light spokesperson. I had a different take on that than most people. I was kind of like, you know, if you're making it a big deal, it's just going to become a bigger deal. Boycotting can work, but like, you're just going to cause a lot of shit when you do that. People are celebrating that Bud Light lost billions. That's money that could have gone in families' pockets. Like I
can see that.
You're punishing the people who work for that company, not high level who made the decision to make advertisements, but the guy who's brewing the beer, the guy who's driving the fork truck, you know, the guy that's putting it on a truck and then driving it to distributors and all that. It's yeah, you think you're doing something good and virtuous, but at the same time you're causing this like wave effect of like it's affecting families now that work for that company.
Yeah,
so I like doing
that'd
that.
be one thing that we disagree on, but you know, I'm kind of more of the, you know, burn it all down type. But
Yeah.
I can definitely understand what you mean by that. I can understand that completely.
Like I believe in the right to not purchase something because you do not agree with the morals. That is your dollar. You can spend that dollar however you want to. But at the same time, it's of every action that you take, if it's a big action like that, yeah, there's going to be not blowback, but there's going to be side effects that people are going to get harmed that shouldn't get harmed. But that's what it is for everything, really. Like,
yeah.
People are going to get hurt along the way of something virtuous being done. Like, all good virtuous things, there are dead bodies with those good virtuous things. There's people who didn't deserve to die because of a good virtuous thing. It's a weird thing to think about. It's very nuanced and very complicated. But I like looking at things differently. I know that, oh, I'm so mysterious, Sherlock Holmes. But like I used to like go for what's the obvious, like, oh, obviously, like this is what this is. I got bored with that, and I was like, be a devil's advocate or get the same point across, but don't take the same road. Take a different road to get to the point where you want to get to and see what it does. And it's been very stimulating. Like I feel like a passion to do this stuff again. I'm very wishy-washy with content creation, but I've watched more other content creators on this platform on YouTube, and I'm like, man, they're having really deep discussions, and they're not being buried for it. I really thought that was kind of cool. So that's what kind of drew me to try to start doing YouTube stuff.
Maybe that's something we need to invest in one of these programs that you see where it's more professional looking, where, you know, because Discord, I'm sure where we're using that right now, I'm sure that like the quality is not going to be like 100%, but like they make programs where you can have multiple people and it all sounds crystal clear and everything's good, and maybe it might be worth us investing in that.
Yeah, I think I'm going to do Zoom again. I mean, Zoom was decent. YouTube has a live feature where you can have people join in on a chat. I'll have to look more into that for sure. I want to get a new camera. I actually want to get a desktop computer, like something that runs extremely well. This is a good laptop. It's a Ryzen 7 and Radeon graphics card, so it runs pretty well. But yeah, but humble beginnings, man.
This Chromebook here, and it's technically not mine; it's hers. She got it for a gift, but I'm probably going to continue to use it as like a research thing. But yeah, I'm going to have me a desktop built.
I mean, for a Chromebook,
it's to get it before this podcast.
Yeah, for a Chromebook, it's not bad. Like it's like my video's kind of choppy sometimes, but no, we're talking very meta right now, behind the scenes stuff. Get behind the curtain. Woo! But no, I'll take this time to say this. Like, you're one of the few people I met on that app that hasn't turned out to be a complete piece of shit. You're not even a little piece of shit. There's just, I don't know, man. Like, I got threw into a bunch of shit because I was trying to be virtuous, and I was like trying to be Spider-Man, you know, standing up for my friends. And then, you know, it just got into this, it ain't worth it.
There's so many people on that app, and the thing is, this can happen anywhere. But there's something about TikTok. I don't know if it's the short form videos. I don't know if it's maybe the culture with TikTok. It's much easier, it seems like, to hide who you really are. And everybody puts on a character when they get on. I mean, that's just the way it is. And I'm not saying that I'm being fake right now, but like right now, held up to 11. Like I'm me, but like I am inflecting a little bit and being a little bit more, you know, whatever. But it seems like people just put on a facade of who they are. And like, no, when I tell you that some stupid shit that happened to me today or whatever, I'm telling the truth. Like, this literally happened to me. And ends up happening, you get in with a group of people and you think, wow, I like these guys, you know, and I have another family, and then and you see who they really are.
Yeah, see some shit.
Feminists and people like that have been exposed on TikTok in the short time that we've been on there. Like,
I know I can name at least 5 off the top of my head. And Modern Warrior was the big one.
Yes, that was the biggest one, was Modern Warrior.
Yeah. I hate white people, but man, they feel to be good inside of. That was his take.
Yeah.
That's Now, that's a good thing to talk about too. Male feminists, biggest weasels. If someone says that they're a male feminist, you could say that I support feminism, and then I'm like, okay, well, okay, I don't fully trust you, but I can learn to. But if you say I'm a male feminist, that is like, okay, who are you trying to have sex with? That's my first question. Like, who are you trying to impress?
Exactly, and it's the guys that they go over and they pick apart guys' videos and make them what they're not. And you know, you said this during our last podcast, the Kathy Newman approach.
Mm-hmm.
They Kathy Newman you and make your video or whatever you said, comment, whatever, something that it's not. Which we already had to deal with that with toxic women on there, and then you're going to turn around and do it too. It's like we've got enough of this going on. We don't need you adding to it. And then you find out later they have harmed women in the past. They've done something to them. They've lied to them. They've, you know, assaulted them, you know, and all this other stuff. It's horrible.
Right.
And it all gets exposed. And I'm like, well, how many times are we going to see this before y'all realize there's a pattern?
Well, it's the infantilizing of women. Like you're treating them like children. When you portray women as these perfect creatures that can't do no wrong, and if they do, it's because of a man. That's where it becomes like, okay, that you're a fucking liar, because women can be absolute demons. They can be Satan incarnate, just like men. There are women who have done harm, and it's not a man's fault that they did it. Who is that? Eileen Wuornos? You remember her?
I don't believe so.
The woman serial killer. She was a prostitute that killed men.
Oh, was it the one the movie was based off of?
Yeah, it was Charlize Theron.
Yeah, okay, I know who that is then.
Yeah, so she, like people made cases for her, like, well, she was abused by men. Okay, I was abused by my mom. Do you see me taking chicken wire and like choking every mother that I see? Like that's not a healthy way to do it. And a man would never get that pass. A man would
not at all.
Never. Like Jeffrey Dahmer. I watched Dahmer on Netflix. And I'm glad they didn't try to make him a sympathetic character. Like they showed what led to certain things. But at the same time, like, no one gave him a pass. Like, yeah, you had his weird followers that were fans of him. But, like, people who wanted him behind bars, like, they're like, no, we're not going to, like, check his brain, scan his brain, or anything. Like, he did evil shit. What he thought he was doing good. He was just trying to find a partner that would never leave him. But you don't have to murder people to do that, right? So.
Exactly. You don't have to do that, folks.
There was one woman, I have to find the video. She was defending Jeffrey Dahmer. She was saying, you know, he was abandoned. He wanted love. He ate pieces of his victims' bodies because he always wanted them to stay with him. He wanted to remember them, and it was a way to honor them. I was like, you are a psychopath. You're a... I think you would enjoy looking at your own intestines. Like, this is not okay. This is terrible. I think her video got taken down. It was on TikTok for a little bit, but
yeah, and
it's terrible.
I don't know about TikTok's policy on all that, but some of the videos that are allowed to stay and the ones that are pulled, it all makes no sense to me. That's another reason why we need to migrate off of that app eventually.
Yeah.
Is I don't understand it at all. I have reported straight up, and being a guy who is pro, you know, adult entertainment that we just talked about.
Right.
I've reported so many instances where there's just plain in your face nudity and sexual content. And I get the thing back saying, oh, no violations found.
Right.
But you'll get a video pulled because you disagree with somebody. You weren't rude, you were civil, you didn't cuss, you didn't motherfuck or goddamn anybody.
But really blows my mind. I'll scroll and there's this new trend going on. It's the Grimace Shake filter, but they're putting it over cartoon NSFW content, and they're covering up the actual explicit part with the Grimace Shake. but you can still see what's going on. And I'm like,
Yeah, mommy, what's that? Because we can talk all day about, and this is another thing too. I was actually going to talk about this when we brought up, porn and all that.
yeah,
Is that people talk about, well, kids see, kids see. Stop giving your children devices that connect to the internet until they can pay for it.
yep,
I understand the sentiment of like, I want to be able to stay in touch with my kid. I want them to be able to reach me or whatever. We got on just fine as kids.
just
I did
fine.
not have a cell phone until I was 16, and it did not connect to the internet.
Yeah, same with me. I had a phone, and I had access to YouTube and shit. But when I was like really, really young, like 12, I wasn't allowed on the internet. I was allowed to go on the internet if my mom or dad was in the room, and I'd play like Flash games on Disney or Cartoon Network. But yeah, like I just, you can't complain if you give them the access. Like if you give the portal to go see that stuff. My daughter has a tablet, but it's parental lock. She doesn't have access to YouTube or anything. She has Netflix Kids, and before she even watches a show, we have to look at it. I'll watch an episode or Google if it's actually safe, and then we're like, okay, well, you can watch that. But it seems weird. If we catch something weird, we're gonna delete the app. Yeah, that's
the way it should be. Parent your own kids, folks. It's not quit trying to get these big corporations that do not care about you to police and parent your children. That's not their job.
right. It's like there's websites that are meant for adults. That's not strictly porn, but it's meant for adults and to let kids on them. And then you change the rules around so children can be taken accounted for. I guess that's good and virtuous, kind of. But if you're nerfing things, you're limiting what adults can say. You're limiting what they can show. So it's let's not change the rules to accommodate kids. How about you make something that's just for kids? You can make the equivalent. I don't trust YouTube Kids at all.
No.
Mm-mm.
Dude, this was actually going the rounds on TikTok for a while, but it got pulled, of course, because they make no sense. The algorithm's stupid. Yeah. But this guy was talking about, and he was showing these videos that his daughter was watching, and I mean, it looks like a kid's video, and it's playing for like 5-10 minutes. He was kind of skipping ahead to show because TikTok's short form video. It cut to a guy cutting a cow's head off in real life. Like he paused it right before the sickle came down or whatever. It may not even been a sickle. It was some kind of instrument he was using. Yeah, it's like, really?
Oh.
No, you can't trust YouTube Kids.
There was one video. It was Spider-Man gets Elsa pregnant. And there's these, I think they're from Sweden or some shit. But it's live action, and it's all done in a kid show way, but it shows them under the covers, and then it shows the covers moving around, and then Elsa has this big old stomach, and then Spider-Man comes with a syringe and pops her stomach, and then a baby comes out. And I'm like,
what the fuck?
I'm like, this is not for kids. This
isn't even for adults. This is for psychopaths. Can we just get rid of it?
I get it. Like they were doing it strictly for money. Like kids who watch those videos, they still get ad revenue and stuff. So, but like if you're gonna make kid content and you want to make money off of kids, Blippi. I don't know if you know who Blippi is.
I'm familiar.
Blippi's good. Like it's kind of like Steve from Blue's Clues. And he makes tons of money. He can retire. He can never have to make videos again. But then you got these people from Sweden. They're like, "Oh, guten Tagen." No, that's German. She for her for her wooden shoes. And then they're like, "Oh, we'll simulate Spider-Man and Elsa having sex, and then have an abortion, but the baby survives." How is that a child thing? How what does that teach them?
It teaches them to fear Sweden. I don't
Some
know.
5-year-old comes with a syringe like, "Hey, mommy, I want the baby out now." Stab. Well, you just killed your brother, Timmy. Awesome. Great.
Oh my gosh.
Uh,
Oh my, it's
that's
horrible.
not good. It's so terrible.
It's like I don't know 100% how YouTube functions on PC because it's been a very long time since I've mostly used PC. But you know how on your phone you have the picture-in-picture whenever you want to do something else and you got the YouTube video going?
Yeah.
Well, you know how it won't do it for children's videos.
Right.
Say, feature not available for. I can't tell you how many hardcore metal concert things that I have watched, how many videos about video games like Mortal Kombat with blood and gore all over it, how many videos like that will not let me do the video picture in picture.
Mm.
It's for kids content. That means on YouTube Kids you can find these videos.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like if you, I've looked on my daughter's tablet, and she hasn't watched any of these videos, but I did searches on them, and there's like normal, like really dangerous stuff on there, or violent stuff. And then I went into the settings and said, not interested, don't show videos like this. I went to different channels, blocked the channels. So it's literally, just because it says YouTube Kids doesn't mean it's curated. You have to go in there and curate it yourself. Because the kids could be up to like 12 or 13. There's things that you can show 12 and 13-year-olds that you really shouldn't show a 4 or 5-year-old. So,
Exactly.
so you have to go in there and curate that stuff. It blows my mind though. Not still about the Elsa and Spider-Man stuff. I watched them and I laughed because it was just so ridiculous. But then I was like, oh, kids watch this. Okay. No.
Yeah.
we need to burn it with gasoline. Set that bitch on fire. It's scary. Well, it wasn't this bad ever when we were growing up because we didn't have this stuff. So we're not completely traumatized, but I'm really curious to see how children now, when they get into adulthood and we're old and wrinkly, like how are they going to navigate the world? Like how are they gonna like?
We're kind of already getting a taste of it. How old are you?
30. I turned 30 this month.
Yeah, I turned 33 last month, so we're around the same age, but we're kind of already seeing it now because if you think about it, like my wife and I talk about this all the time. If she'd gotten pregnant when we first got together, she'd be in high school right now.
Ugh.
And we're kind of already seeing it. And these people, they have no moral compass. They have no awareness of their surroundings, even when they don't have the phone in their face, which is almost 90% of the time.
No.
It's like they have it in their face because they get tunnel vision. When it comes to stuff like this, no, there's like zero moral compass. They don't think about, how awful something they said or something they did is. Even when the consequences are in their face, they're like, I don't know what I did wrong. And it's like, are you serious?
Yeah.
And
the girl in college who ran over 2 people. She was being told, you murdered people. You're going to be going to jail. Like, can I still go to college on Tuesday? Can I still go to class? They're like, no, you're going to be in jail. But I have to be in class. I don't think you understand the weight of the situation here. You just killed 2 people. And it's like, it was inconsequential to them.
See, I was exposed to rated R movies way too young. Way too young.
Same.
Way too young. I was probably 4 or 5. My first ever rated R movie was The Terminator. Also, that's an L that my parents have to take. They shouldn't have done that to begin with. But they took the time to explain to me and teach me the difference between fantasy and reality. This stuff that you're doing in your video game is not real. And I did have the occasional slip up.
Yeah.
One time in school, I got in trouble because I was drawing guns on my binder. This was right after Columbine. This was right after all this stuff happened. I was drawing guns from one of my video games, and I didn't think anything of it, and I got in trouble for that. Have the awareness, okay, you're in school, don't be doing that. But for the most part, I didn't do anything bad. I didn't get into trouble or nothing. I had it explained to me, the difference.
Mm-hmm.
So
my first rated R movie was
girl and boys hookups a little too early, like that.
yeah.
But
My first rated R film was Pennywise or It, the original one.
Tim Curry classic.
And then I forgot the first sex scene I ever saw. It was definitely at an age I shouldn't have seen it. My parents turned it off. They're like, "Oh, we didn't know." I was like, "What were they doing?" They're like, "Love," and I'm like, "Okay, whatever that is."
I actually have a funny story about Terminator. So that was my first rated R movie. You remember back in the day, the the VCRs that you would fast forward and rewind, but you had to hit the button multiple times. Otherwise, it just kind of barely sped it up.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like it had settings. You had to keep clicking it. Well, I can't remember if somebody brought the tape or whatever, but they had it playing. I was at a babysitter's. Kids everywhere. The rest of the movie was okay. People were fine with the violence and the action and the cussing and all that. Oh, well, that was fine. When it gets to the point where Linda Hamilton and Michael Biehn are together, they clicked fast forward, but all they managed to do was make it faster.
Mom, is that the Energizer Bunny?
Yeah.
Oh no!
Yeah, so that's a funny story there. Yeah, you didn't help. You just made it faster.
Well, my sister put in a VHS tape, and she thought it was like Barney or something. No, my mom and dad were kissing, and
oh no!
my dad walks in, and my sister's crying, and he's like. He realizes what it is. Nothing explicit was shown, but my dad runs to the VHS thing, ejects it. He takes it to the front yard. He pours lighter fluid on it and sets it on fire. And I was like, "Oh, dude!" Like, my sister was like 10 seconds away from being traumatized for the rest of her life.
Oh, gosh, she's crying about that. Wait 10 seconds.
Wait 10 seconds. It's Dad, why are you stabbing Mom in the face?
Oh God.
Oh man. That's my biggest fear. Is a child of mine walking in.
Yeah.
I'm like hyper paranoid. Like, my daughter's asleep. I wait 30 minutes and I check if they're asleep. Wait another 30 minutes.
By that time, she's passed out now too. You're not getting it.
I'm like, all right, she's asleep now. But you know what? I diverted a crisis. You know what? That's great. My parents told me when I was 2 years old, I walked in on them. I was just standing there. And then my mom looks over and she screams in my face and I go, "Ah!" And I run out of the room. I don't remember any of this. And I'm like, thank God. But I don't remember this. I'm like, there is a God. Thank you. But yeah, I was like, I'll make sure that never happens ever.
I've had the misfortune of walking in on parents changing and even step parents changing, but I've never had the misfortune of stepping in the middle of activity. So
yeah, I mean, I can prove that I never did that with my parents. Never walked in on them changing because I'm still alive. I probably would have put my head in the oven or just right through the plastic.
I'm here, folks, so that's proof that I didn't see anything.
That would have been terrible. Parents are ew. So gross.
Especially, that's around the time you typically tend to let yourself go too. You're settled, you're happy, you got your kids. Yeah.
I didn't know freckles could get that big. They turn into liver spots.
Freckle, son. Son freckle.
Oh man. That's a terrible thought to have. Thank you for that. Oh my god. Shit. Almost started crying. Oh shit. Well,
kind of makes me think of we mentioned Austin Powers earlier. It makes me think of the second one where fat bastards with the I forget the woman's name. Remember
Felicity.
that? Oh god, that was bad. That
Felicity Shagwell. Ooh, frisky
he's
are
covered in the
we?
chicken grease. Yeah. Oh.
Look at me, I'm dead sexy. When you're an overweight child in a society that demands perfection. I eat because I'm unhappy. I'm unhappy because I eat. Beautiful. And then farts at the end. Did you just soil yourself? Yeah, maybe.
Maybe just a little.
Maybe. He gets all like,
Oh gosh.
I'm naughty.
And she couldn't think of anywhere else to put it either. Like, how else did it end up in the toilet? It's because she put it somewhere. Okay.
Apparently he liked it. I'm like, come here, little frisky girl. Those are movies I shouldn't have watched. I was maybe 10 or 12 when those movies came out.
You know what? That's true because I watched them all as they came out, and I should not have been watching those movies. That's another trilogy that I should not have partaken in.
Like, it wasn't blatant, but it was very highly suggestive.
Innuendo laden everywhere.
No, it was not. I don't think it did much damage. Like, not that I know of. Nothing that's manifested itself. I remember, and I know of. I remember being like 8 and being showed Rotten.com. I don't know if you remember that website.
Sounds like something we shouldn't be on.
I saw a man's head crushed by a train grate, like those little trailer things. And I was like, yeah, probably shouldn't have saw that. It looks like lasagna everywhere. I don't know. I should have saw that. That's the main problem. It's usually never the parents that like show you that stuff. It's like cousins, like older cousins.
Right, but that falls into they shouldn't have access to it either. And that's the thing. If we would all just collectively, hold hands together and be unified and preventing this from being, something that kids see, there you go.
Right.
You're always going to have the, and
It's sometimes it seems unavoidable, but it's really not. Like it's just like you don't buckle with your kids. Like you don't let their complaints like make you change the rule set. Yeah, they might throw a fit, but go ahead, cry. I'm saving you.
Yeah.
You'll appreciate this later.
Appreciate this now, but trust me later, you're going to be very, very thankful that I spared you this.
Oh.
Meatspin.com.
Oh no! Oh. A blue waffle.
Party.org.
The blue waffle.
You remember the mason jar?
No, I never want to remember that again. The thing I remember out of that is the muffled.
It just goes in because it broke. It shattered, and then the vacuum pulled everything up.
I'm not gonna bother.
Yeah.
But that's the thing I remember the most is the muffled. It's it was like his butthole was a silencer. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, why did my cousin show me that? Oh.
Your cousin sounds like a real dick.
He's a fucking dick, dude. I didn't know what was happening. I looked away. He's like, no, you have to watch it. You have to watch it. I'm like, okay. All right. And then and then when he was excavating the fucking remnants of what used to be a pickle jar, I threw chunks up everywhere.
God bless.
I was yeah, that was I wouldn't be really sad if a meteor hit the world and like took out like 20% 20% of people, like it wouldn't be that bad.
See, this is why I can't watch The Boys on Amazon, because I feel like I would relate to Homelander too much. I feel like if I had Superman's powers, that I could not be trusted, and it would take a group of people to take me out.
There's an episode called Hero Gasm. I don't know how they were allowed to do it.
I think I know where you're going with this. It kind of plays into the old meme that people had before Infinity War about Ant-Man and Thanos, right?
Yeah.
Where he could shrink down. Yeah. I
Yeah.
remember.
There's a love scene with an octopus that doesn't involve an Asian girl.
For once.
I can handle that now, being an adult. I can like, oh, it's a show. But the real life shit that I've been exposed to,
no good.
I'm surprised I haven't done anything. That I haven't lashed out on the world. Oh shit. Well, where are we at in time? Hour 50? Damn, this is, I think, what was our last one?
I actually don't remember. I think it was an hour and a half.
Think?
You're going to have to be the guy that watches the time, because I could just sit here and shoot the shit until I got to go pick my wife up. So.
Oh, no, you're good, man. An hour and 4 minutes.
Read it on Reddit, but we mostly just kind of hung out and talked.
Trauma bond.
Yeah, trauma bond.
I feel connected. I feel like we are connected forever.
I feel like you'll never leave me.
Oh, maybe. Depends on if you send me a link.
Yeah.
If you ever try to show me that jar video again, I'll fucking...
Yeah, that's it. Friendship ruined. That's it after
That's
that.
my boundary.
Yeah.
That should never be crossed.
This is my one boundary. You can do anything else. Just don't send me that again.
Don't send me that. Oh, man. Yeah, I'm probably going to head out and eat some dinner. Go watch a movie with the girl. But I had a lot of fun doing this.
Need to do it more often.
I'm probably... I'll post this tomorrow. And then... but I'll go ahead and send you the file if you want to send me your email.
All right, yeah, I can do that. I'll send it to you on the phone.
Righty, fuck yeah. Well, this has been Reddit on Reddit and Glass Jars. And
and trauma.
And trauma. And parenting advice. You guys have a good one, and we will be back definitely. For sure. Can't wait to do another one.
Yeah.
Peace.